When we open Pixlr for the first time, this is what we see. Here we can create a new image. We can open from our computer or open an image from the URL. But let me first show you the interface. What we have on the top are different tools to do adjustments to the whole picture. If you go down here to the Tools box, here we have different options to do adjustments just to a part of the picture. And here on the right side we have the Navigator. I'm going to use this quite often because I want to move closer into things I'm working on in a picture, and then I want to see it in a certain distance. This is a very effective way to move in and out in the picture. Then we have layers. If we're working with layers, doing different things maybe to the whole picture, and we need new layers, or maybe of an element. We'll come back to this later as well. And then we have the history. For every picture I open, I start to create a history. Every adjustment I do to the picture, it will show here and will come in the right order, so we can always have control over what have I done to this picture, and I can go back and change things. In the next videos, I will show you some of the functions that we have up here, things we can do to the whole picture, and these are the functions we use most often because we want to adjust colors, lightness, brightness, maybe adjust the horizon, and it's important to be in control of these. And as I say, these are the ones you need most often. There can be many different reasons why we want to do adjustments to a picture, but usually it is to reduce the pixel size, or maybe adjust lightness, brightness, adjust colors, and these are the things we're going to look at now. So the first thing I do is to open an image from my computer, and I can see that I have pictures from this year, from various different trips I've had. So if I just start by opening a picture of flowers, then you can see it's a very big picture because it opens up now in the original size. I can do two different things now to have a better view. One is to go to the View button up here, just click it, and you can see I can zoom in, zoom out, or I can choose to show all. And now I see the complete picture. If we go to the Navigator, I can also go in here and go very close. I can even move in so close that we can see every pixel here. But this is a very big picture, so the first thing I want to do with it is to go to the Image button here and choose Image Size, because I know it's a big picture. If I click here, I can see it's 2496 pixels wide, and the height is 1664 pixels. It's a very big picture. I can go in and change the size of the picture just by dragging over, left click and drag over here, and maybe write in 1000 pixels. And as you see, the height was adjusted as well because I have checked this box. So now I have reduced the size of the picture, and the only thing I need to do is to click OK, and I go to the File menu and I want to save this picture. I can choose various formats. I want to have it as a JPEG. That's the most used way to save your picture, in a JPEG. And I want to give it a name and just call it Flowers. And the quality, I can choose here to reduce the quality or even make it 100%. This depends on what I'm going to use the picture for. If I'm just going to send it to some friends via the email, I can reduce it maybe down to 65–60%. It will still be a very good quality. Usually around 70–80% is very good. So I just click OK, and my computer asks me where you want to save it. I want to have it on the desktop, and it's called Flowers. I just hit Save, and when I'm done with the picture, I just leave it. There is another way as well. If I have done adjustments to a picture and I just hit Close like this, Pixlr will ask me, do you want to save the changes in the image? And I click yes. Then again I get a suggestion for what format I want to save it in, and I can give it a name, Flower, and this time I call it 2. just so I have two different images on my desktop, just in case I've done something wrong. And the important thing is the original one that I uploaded to Pixlr is still on my computer in a very high resolution. So actually I have 3 different pictures on my computer now. So flowers 2, save it, and in the next video we're going to do some minor adjustments to a picture. I've opened a new picture. This is from Italy as well, and the first thing I do is to go up to the view and then show all. You know, it's a nice picture. It doesn't look too bad. But what we can do is to go in and do some adjustments. Let's say I want to do something with a brightness and a contrast. I can left click and move it around, and then I can see if I just reduce the brightness a little bit and see if we can get a little bit sharper. I let go and Pixlr have to work. Maybe that was too much. I move back maybe around 10. Let's see here. About 9. I think this is a good one. If I left click and drag left on the contrast, I would reduce the contrast in the image. And if I take it down, let's say 42%, you will see it's almost white. The colors, the shades, everything is evened out very much. Now I could use this picture as a background picture, maybe on a PowerPoint presentation. I can move the other way and make it a very different picture if I really highlight the shades, the distance between what is black and white, what is light and dark. Then you can see when I let this go, this is a very special picture. So by just adjusting the brightness and the contrast in a picture, we can make it look very different from what the original was. So it's up to you. It's got to do with what you prefer, and at the same time, what is the purpose of the adjustments you make. So brightness and contrast, that is maybe the function I use most often on my pictures. Now we are back at my selection of pictures from this year, and if I move down and come closer to Christmas, past the summer, and we move down autumn, wind blowing, raining, and here we have a picture from Rome. And when I open this picture again, I view it and show all full size. Then you see the horizon is tilting up on the right side. This doesn't look good. It could have been a nice picture, but I have to do adjustments to this picture, not only on brightness and contrast, because it's very light as well. I want to reduce the lightness and get some more contrast into the picture. But first of all, I want to adjust the horizon. And how do I do that? Well, I want to edit the picture. And I go up to the edit button, left click, and there you have free transform. And this is a very nice tool. Here I can go in and crop the picture. You see here, I can make it a very different shape by just clicking on one of the handles in the corner. Left click, hold down and move it around. And I can make a very special effect if I want to. But this is not what I'm looking for now. I just go back to the edit button. And do you want to save the changes? No, I don't. So it's back to the original. I go up to the edit button, free transform, and if you look closely now, when I move the cursor just below the picture, you can see here is one symbol coming up. If I left click and drag, I can start to tilt the picture and make it a very special effect like this. Well, sometimes we need a picture like this. If we've written something on it and just want to have it on top of a letter or something, this is a very nice way to make special effects with a picture. But again, this is not what I'm looking for. Again, I go up to the edit button. I do not want to keep the changes I just did. Again, up to the edit button, free transform, And now I go under the picture in the right corner. And now you can see that suddenly I get this arrow. So when I left click, hold down and start to move up and down, you see I'm tilting the whole picture. So now I want to see if I can straighten it up. I believe this looks pretty good. So now I tilted my picture, but what you can see, here is some white, here we have some white stuff, and same on the top, and down here on the right side. I can't keep that. So now I will have to move to the Tools box, and I want to make a selection. Let's click it. Do you want to apply the changes? Yes, I do. So again, I go to the Tools box. You see, Pixlr always make me control that I really do what I have intended to do by asking questions, like it just did. Yes, I want to keep this change. And now I left click, and I'm making a new selection within the picture, like this. I go up to the Edit button, and I copy this one. Now I've copied what's in between these dotted lines. I go to the File and choose New, and it says Create Image from Clipboard. I do that, click like this, OK, and now you can see I have a much better picture. If we check this, go back to the first one, and I go to Edit and Undo, and Edit again, Undo. Then we are back to the original. You can see here, it's like going uphill, and that's not what it is in real life. I just left click here, drag, and then click on the other one, and you can see the difference. This is a much better picture. And again, I just want to do some adjustments to the brightness and contrast, because this is too bright. Move this away so I can see the picture better. I left click, and I try maybe 17. That looks much better. Maybe even a little bit more down to 20. And a little bit more contrast. Yes, I like this picture. I want to keep it. So, again, I just save it onto my computer. The original is still there, but this is the new picture I want. And if I want, I can go up to Image, and I can even resize it, because this is still very big. So I just reduce this to 1000 pixels, and the box was checked. So that means I now get a copy of the original. View, full size, show all. Here you have it. I've opened up a picture from October 2009 outside the coast of Stavanger, southwestern Norway, and it really is blowing. But you see, there are lots of different things we can do to this picture to enhance the quality. And as you have seen, we have the adjustment alternatives. We have the brightness and contrast. We can just reduce the brightness. Looks better already. Increase the contrast. And okay, it's much sharper, much better picture. Cancel this one, and we can just try hue and saturation. I move this away so I can see the whole picture. If you wonder what hue are, you can just watch what's happening. If I reduce it to -32, it changes the color in the picture. Now it's going more and more green. So if I go like this, it's even more green, and you see the caterpillar that is on board this boat has now quite new color. So if I just cancel, you can see it's yellow, but it turned red, and the rest turned green. The hue and saturation tool is used to adjust hue, saturation, and lightness levels on a range of color weightness for the selected area or active layer. The hue describes the pure color of a pixel, and by changing the hue, the colors rotate. The saturation is the amount of color that is presented in a pixel. By adding and removing saturation, you can choose to let the image become more gray or more colorful. I'll show you. If we again go to Adjustment, use Saturation, and this time we used the saturation. So now you can see we are reducing the color in the picture. Take it all the way down here, it's almost black and white. Go the other way, increase the colors, then you see we have complete different pictures. And then we have the lightness. As you know, we just reduce or we put more brightness into a picture. This is a function we use more for special effects, but it can be helpful if you have a picture that is maybe too red. Then you can adjust by shifting on the hue to see if you can get some more blue to compensate for the too much red, or maybe make it a little bit more green. You have to just try and play along with it, because it's a fun tool, but it can be very helpful too if you have a picture you want to keep and you don't really like the overall color presentation in the picture. The next tool under Adjustments is Levels. This is a quite difficult tool to really understand, but it has to do what is the black parts of the pictures, the darkest parts, the mid-tones, and the very light levels. If I show you, maybe you can understand it a little bit better. There is not so much difference between the darkest and lightest parts in this picture. If I go to the right and want to work with this, then you see I increase the lightness in the picture, and it does not give a good effect, because if you look down here you can not see the various shades in the waves anymore. So I don't want to do anything with this one. I can go to the opposite, and that is to work with the dark parts of the picture. I click it, hold down and drag, and I put more darkness into the picture. So if I go all the way up here, you see now it still keeps the quality of the sea here in front, but what was dark is now even darker. I take this one back to where we started. What I then can try to do is to work with the mid-tones, that what is in between the darkest and the lightest parts of this picture. If I left click it and hold down, you see I increase the lightness, and now I make the whole picture darker. So if I go all the way up like this, you see now I highlighted this area and the rest is more difficult to see. So this can be an effect. Maybe I want it to look a little bit more like night or evening. So this is not easy to operate and work with these. You just have to try it out and see how you feel these different levels can help you increase the quality of your picture. On the bottom here we have the general output level. So if I again reduce the dark sides in the picture, it's almost like working with only with lightness, but it's not actually the same function. So you have to play with this and see if you find ways to use it that helps you increase the quality of your picture. When we are talking about curves, if I again go to Adjustments and open Curves, move this to the right, this is how we can make very many changes to the appearance of the picture. If I just click on this line, left click and drag, hold down. If I go up here, it's on the upper levels, on the light levels. If I move down here, I'm starting to work on the darker part of the pictures. So you see, this is a fantastic flexible tool, and usually this is what you can do to make very special pictures. If I want to highlight the sky here, I just want to have it be even more powerful. I drag it carefully down I can go up the line and will be a little bit lighter. I can move down and it will be darker and darker, and then I get a very nice picture. You see here, this really is alive, but you cannot see anything from the sea anymore. Is it blowing or is it flat? We don't know. So I can cancel this one, just show you a couple of other examples. If I again go to the curves, move it, and I can start to pick colors from the light parts of the picture. This is for the light, this is for medium, and this is for the dark parts of my picture. I can click this just for fun. If I now go to the sea and just left click, and what is this? Quite different picture. Again, I can go here and move, and you see I get very special effects. This time I managed to do something with the sea, and everything else is more or less invisible. Cancel this one, adjustments, curves, move it, and this time I take the midsection of the picture, sample from image to set gray point. Okay, if I set this red color, try this one. Suddenly you see it's a quite different picture. So if you are really able to handle this one, you can start to call yourself an artist. But it will take you time. There are so many different things you can do to a picture by using this tool. So you probably have enough to study for the rest of your lifetime. Cancel this one, and I want to do something with the lower parts of the colors. What's the dark parts of the picture? Again, I hit this one, and if I again try the red one just to see what happens, you see it turned blue. I move on this one, and you see you get very many special effects. So okay, this could really look like the storm is coming, so better go inside and seek some shelter. This is fun. In this video I'm going to open up another picture from Rome, and I want to make it smaller because it's very high on pixels, so I just write 1000 pixels, and as long as the constraint proportions box is checked, and the height is automatically adjusted as well. Okay, so now I can see almost all of my pictures. I can use the scroll bar on the side here. I can move the cursor down in the right corner, click here, and I can make it a little bit bigger. So now I see the whole picture. We are working with adjustments, and if I go down to Desaturate, it just means make it into a black and white picture. Very nice. Edit, undo, adjustments, invert. For those who have lived so long that they used to have a camera with a film inside it, you took it to the photographer to make paper copies. Then you have the film back, and you can see it was all inverted. Black is white, white is black. Everything is opposite. Then we have something called the threshold. I put the level to 40, and that gives a very odd picture. If I reduce this number and maybe write in 20 instead, we will be able to see less of the picture. If I just write 4, there's hardly anything left. The higher number, the more of the picture I see, and it looks very much like a drawing in a way. So if I write 89, you see I can now recognize my picture. Nice effect. So play along with it. Very nice. Maybe the most modern thing to do is to go to Adjustment and Posterize. This, as you can see here, has suddenly changed the colors. When we are working with picture, we work with the main colors red, green and blue, and this reduces the numbers of variations in colors. If I say OK, I keep this one, then I can just check these boxes out so I can see the whole picture. Quite nice. And if I like, I can start to write something here maybe and make it my personal poster, print it out and have it on the wall. I just opened up the summer picture and now we're going to look at what is called filters. There are so many different things we can do to a picture. You've probably seen that already. And here we have some other ones, more special effects like blur. As you see now, it's more blurry. I didn't like that. Undo. Go to filter or go to sharpen. And it sharpens up the picture. This is a very nice effect. I like it. Especially if you reduce the size of pictures and want to have them in a letter or in a presentation. This really shines up the picture. So if I first go to view and I want to have the navigator up because I'm going to use this now. Because when I go to filter and I go to what we call pixelate, to pixelate the picture, then you can actually see the pixels. You can see the cell size, how big do you want to have this every pixel, and you can see now they're very big. So actually breaking this picture up into fewer but bigger pixels. So we go all the way up. There's not much that looks like a summer day by the sea. Go all the way down, then you have it almost normal. If I just say OK and I zoom in, then you can see the pixels. Very easy. And you see all the various different colors that we don't really think about when we look at a picture normally. So pixelating a picture, I don't know. I've never used the effect, but under the filters here, you have a lot of different things you can do to pictures. So just play along, have fun. Maybe you find some effect that you like, that you feel that you need. In the next videos, we're going to work with the tools box. And because I want to do things to this picture, maybe cut out the selection, I want a big picture. As you can see here, it's a very big picture. So by keeping that size original, it gives me better quality if I choose to just cut out a section of this picture. What I usually do is go to Show All under the View menu, and I want to make a selection now. I have already chosen the Marquee tool, and that gives me the possibility to cut out a section of this picture. I want to keep this area, these old walls with the bright red building here and the yellow bus. It's a mixture of old days and new age. So if I do like this, for instance like this, I just left click and hold down and I choose my selection like this. Let go, and what I then do is I go to the edit button, I copy it, I go to the file, choose a new, and I want to create this from clipboard. I check this box and say OK, and here is my new picture. If I then go to View, Show All, then you have my new picture. So this is how we use the Marquee tool. In this video, I want to have the history up as well, and I want to have the layers, because now I'm going to write some text into this picture. I left click on the A and click into the picture. You can see this small arrow here. At the same time, you have a new tools bar open, and that is to adjust the size of what you write, maybe 56, that's okay. Okay, the color, maybe I want a deep red color like this. I can move it around and you will see the new color up here. So if I move like this, you can see it's changing. So I want this strong, deep red color. Okay. I hit the A and you can see this marker is blinking. Now I've got a new toolbar here, and that is for what kind of letters do I want, what font family. I can just try maybe this one. As you see, when I hover over them, you get an example of what it's going to look like. So maybe I like this one. No, I don't. This was too... I just scroll down a little bit and see if I find something. Yeah, this one. I like this one. More like handwriting. Left click it, and now when I hit the A again, you see now it will be red. This is color red, size is 56, and it's named John Handy. So I just say summer 2009. That was still too small. So what I can do is go up here and make it even bigger, like this. And if I want to move it around, I have to go to this arrow. This is the move tool, click it, and now I can start to move the text around. So in this video we have learned how to put writing into a picture and how to move it around. If you look on the right side, you have the history panel here, and here we can see what I have done. The first thing I did was to open a picture. Then I had a new layer that is for letters. And when I've written the new layer, I moved the selection. And still we have the new layer, and I have moved it. So what I can do now is to write something more. Maybe I want to write something about temperature in the sea. I can move up here and I can find maybe Verdana. See if I find Verdana here. It should be there. There we have Verdana, and I can keep the same size as for now. And as you see here, we can have bold writing, italic, bold and italic. Right now it's regular. Maybe I'll go for bold this time, and I want a different color, maybe more yellow color. I just click here, and that gives me different alternatives. This bright yellow color, should be possible to see this one. So I click OK, and I go to the letters and click here, and I say 26 Celsius. That's warm, very warm. Maybe I want a little bit bigger size, like this. Go to the move tool, and I move it down here where we have the thermometer in the water. As you probably remember from one of the previous videos, we made a selection with the Marquee tool from the Tools box. We choose it, we left click, and we can make a rectangle or square selection from a picture. I bring it out, I copy it and edit, and I paste it. Then I have two flowers. Okay, but this is square, and it's very hard to place this into another picture. Even if I try to find the right position, it looks kind of silly. So there is a better way if you want to have more rounded shapes or free shapes. So I just go to edit, undo, edit, undo, edit, undo, edit, undo, and undo, and we're almost back to where we started. There we are. This time I choose the lasso. So click this one. I can move closer here, but to be able to do a good job, I go to the Navigator first, and then I zoom in, and I want to be as close as possible, because now I'm going to make a very specific selection, and I have to concentrate because now I have to hold down all the way around this flower. I find the corner, left click, and then I start to follow the shape of a flower, and I have to be concentrated, hold down Let's see if I get most of this. I cannot let go. I have to keep it down. Trying to follow the edges. Don't want too much of that green with me. It's better to lose a little bit of the red than bring another color into. So I'm going around like this. And if I should be unlucky, just at the end here, got some white greenish stuff, okay, we'll fix it. But here I have made another selection. The next thing to do is to go to the edit button and copy my selection. I can choose to copy it into the same image, or I can go to the file menu, open a new one, and now I write 800 pixels wide and 600 pixels high, and click OK, and I have a new canvas, blank canvas. Before I do anything more, I want to have another color, a background color on this one. Right now it's blue. I just left click this one and I get the color picker up. I want it to be a green color, and I want it to be very light green. So I go over this small circle, move it up, and as you can see, my color is now quite nice, bright green. I click OK. I go to my bucket, left click, and I have a green canvas. And then you might wonder what happened to my flower. I move up to the edit button and I paste, and there is my flower. And if I now scroll here, zoom in, you can see here is where I missed. This is the spot. How do I get rid of that? Very easy. I go over to the rubber like this, and now I have an eraser tool. And at the same time I have a new tool up here that can help me choose what kind of eraser do I want. Do I want it to be very hard, or take very softly smooth, square, a star, whatever. The size of it is decided here. So maybe one is a little bit too small, so I can just left click and drag over it and write 3. And I want it to be a bit soft, like this one. This will give me a very soft tool. So but you see now it's very big. It jumped up to 10 because I did something with the size. So again, on the radius I write 3 in this one, and now you see it's reduced. And then I just left click over it, and I can take away what I didn't like, like this. When I zoom out again, you see the flower is perfect. In this way I can find elements from various pictures and paste them into one. I told you I was very pleased with my flower, but when I look at it, I still see there's something here that is green that shouldn't be there. So again, I can just left click, go closer, go to my eraser tool, and just go on the edge here, and you see it's quite soft the way it's taking away, like this. And here we have some green shading as well, just getting rid of it, just like this. And we zoom out again, and we see it doesn't look too bad. Okay, here we have other tools as well in the tools box. I can, for instance, write, but right now you see that the color is green. If you want to see what I'm writing, I will have to choose another color. I can go to this, click it, and then I can find the color. Maybe I should use a red color because that's what we just used now for the flower. I click OK, and now when I start drawing, I will have to click this one again, and when I start drawing, you can see my flower. So I can write flower. Nice is it? Absolutely not. But it's writing. I can go to the brush, and the same color will be here, but now you see it's very different. Again, I have a new box up here giving me more possibilities to how thick should my brush be, what is the opacity. If I reduce the opacity to 48, it's more dim, like this. And you have different alternatives here as well. It's up to you to find out what you like. And in the next video, we're going to look at the stamp and see how the clone stamp tool works. You probably remember my red flower. It was here. Now I have two. How did that happen? Well, first I go to Edit and I go to Undo, and it's gone. That's good. What I have done is to go to the Stamp Cloning tool. It's a very nice tool, because if I move into the picture here, I can choose whatever I want to copy. And I have a new set of tools up here. I can choose how big should my cloning tool be, the hardness, and the alternatives you've seen before. So I'm pleased with this, so I just use this one. When I'm going to copy this flower now, I just hold the cursor over the corner of the flower and I hold down Control, left click, and this is where I would start to draw a new flower. I just move the cursor over here, left click, hold down. At the same time on the flower you can see where my cursor is. So I can, when I'm looking at the right flower, not what I'm drawing actually, but on the right flower, I can see that I get the shape of the flower first, the outlines of the flower like this, and then I look at the flower on the left and I start to fill in the color like this. And as you can see, it's exactly like the first one. It's a clone. If I want to have the stem, then I will have to reduce the size of this one. It's easy. Up here, and I write in maybe 2 and see what happens. I just click here on the stem, hold down Control, click again here, move over to this flower, and when I start drawing I will have to look on the right flower because I want to see that my cursor is over the stem on the right flower. And you can see it's very, very tiny. I have to make it bigger. Maybe so. First I can just undo this one and we go to the brush and I make it maybe 8 just to see what happens. And I want it to be fixed as well. It was halved again. I go up to, I can try with 6 and see what happens. I go over to the flower, like here, just remove the tools box, hold down Control, left click, move the cursor over here, and then I will start drawing. But again, I look on the flower on the right, because when I click, I can see what I'm going to clone. And now I follow this stem down here, and it seems that it's really working. I can get the leaves here as well. So in a way, I managed to produce 2 flowers. One of my favorites when I'm using elements from different pictures into one is the magic wand. You find it here. If I click this one, you can see we got a new tools bar. That happens with most of these. We get a new tools bar because here we have something called tolerance. But tolerance, that means how much of the original picture do I want and how much do I want to cut out of the picture. So we just keep it for 21 right now. And this time I just hold it close to the church and just move around like this. Just I'm holding down, let go, and it has made a selection. If I then go to Edit and to copy it, File, and New, and New Untitled. I want it a little bit bigger than what is suggested here. 800 by 600 should be okay. And if I don't want that, I can create it in the same size as the original. Then I just click here, Create Image from Clipboard, and I click OK. And here you can see there are some shades, not much. And what I do, I just leave this one. I don't like it. We're back to the original. I go up to Edit and undo my selection. This time I try to have a higher tolerance. Let's say, try it around 66. That's good. Again, I click my magic wand, hold it outside of it, just a little bit like this, take it around like this, and I go to the Edit, I go to the Copy, I choose File, I choose a new image, and I create it from the clipboard. OK. And now we can see more of it, but not much. Delete this one. I don't like it. Another try. Tolerance. Take it up to 227. I have to edit and undo first. Be sure I have checked out the Wand tool, and I click like this. Edit, Copy, File, New, Create from Clipboard. OK. And here you see my picture. Kind of nice, like a wintry picture. This was in the middle of December 2009, but this gives it a very special effect. I can choose a color. Let's say I just go to the color picker and I pick some yellow color like this. OK. Go to my bucket and click, and I can fill in these other areas here like this, and suddenly I've got a quite different picture than the one I had just a minute ago. Nice. And here I can write Rome, December 2009. In the previous video, you saw how we created a new image by going to File, Open, New. You can also do that here before you start. You can create a new image, and you can decide what the size is. Let's say it's going to be 1200, and it's going to be by 400. I'm going to write some invitation or something. OK. Here's my screen. And here in my toolbox, I have a very fun tool. It's a gradient tool. If I click this one, you see here is a new toolbar on top of my screen again, and this time it shows what kind of gradient. This one is going from white to black. The opacity is 100. That means that it's going to be from all white to all black. I can reduce this one, and you can see here if it's going to be linear or radial. I'm going to show you that in a second. And the spread method is just leave it to pad, and mode normal. If I click the gradient and just choose this one, you can see it goes all the way from white till black. I just click again just to be sure I've made the right selection, and I start up in the left corner and I go all the way down to the right corner. Then you can see here is the darkest part and here's the lightest part. I don't have to delete this. I can just do like this and it will change. So you see where I start, that is the bright spot. So this is the way you can make very many nice background colors. Just click this one, then I click outside, and then I go from the left to the right, and it's going to be white and blue. That's right, dark blue. If I go up here, I can choose to say that, okay, I want to prolong the soft blue color like this. Click outside, and now you will see it changes. So you can make very many different effects. Here we have our Mother Earth. Ooh, nice. How do you want it? Lots of different colors. if you go to the color picker, you can choose what color you want. You have millions of colors to choose from. I choose OK, and now you see it's green here, and if I click this one, choose another color, I'll go to light blue like this, and on the last one I want it to be yellow like this. OK, now I will get a quite different cloud. Just click outside like this, and where are we in the universe? Fun tool, it's up to you, just play along with this. So what you could choose here is if it's going to be linear or radial. If we try the radial thing, then you see you get a circle more like this. If we go to opacity, we can soften it all by doing like this. So lots of shapes. It keeps some of the old shapes and gradually they disappear. Opacity again, we go up to 100 and then you only get one set like this. Sometimes it happens that we want to highlight something and put something more behind, make it more distant. In the tools box we have two different tools. One to blur. If I click this one, and you see again we have a new toolbar up here. I want a big brush this time, maybe size 50, and it's going to be, I can make it hard like this, that's okay. And I just start to click outside here, and if I just go over and over again, every time I click and hold down and drag, you see this blurs away. So I can even go up here and make this much bigger. I can make it up to 60, 70 if I like. Click here, every time I click it blurs more and more. So because I want to highlight what's in front of the church, what we can see in the distance, all these other things, I just want them to more or less disappear. Just keep the imagination that there is something else there. So this is what I can do on both sides of the church. Just click, hold down, and drag, and I'm blurring away what is here on the left and right side of what I want to be the main focus in this picture. A lot of work. Ooh, I'm getting tired in my right arm doing this. And then I can hit the opposite, that is the Sharpen tool. And I have to choose a size again, so 12 is a little bit small, so I say, okay, I want to have it this big, and maybe I wanted to have it more gradient like this. I'll go up to the front of the church, left click, and hold down and drag. Hold down and drag, and you can see something is happening to this altar now. Just hold down and drag over it a couple of times, and you see how it really shines up. You can see that this is gold and silver and a celebration of Easter in the region of Lucca in Tuscany. It's all fake what I'm doing now, but what you saw originally, that is original. Beautiful. And now it's time to have some fun. I found a picture of some apples. It was a lovely autumn, but now I'm going to do something strange to these. And on the top, again, I have a new toolbox, and I can choose what shape my tool shall have. So maybe I just reduce it a little bit, maybe to this. Click outside it, and now if I click on this apple, left click, hold down and drag, way, just like this, making explosions of fruit here. It's nice. It's just for fun. But if you have extra time and just want to have some fun, then you can start to build your own tree like this. Now I'm going from the apple, but I can go from the branch and move out like this and really make this the most fruity garden since the Garden of Eden, I'm quite sure. Looks nice, hmm? So, if you have some extra time, play along with this tool. It's fun, great fun. I'm not sure why this is called the sponge tool, because usually we use a sponge to wash something off a blackboard or wash a car or something, but this tool enhances the colors. If I click this one, whoa, you see, they will become more and more green and the carrots more and more red. And by this way I can enhance the colors in the part of the picture where I want to have some more attention to. Beautiful, hmm? But why it's called a sponge, I don't know. But it's fun. Welcome to the Dodge Tool. You find it here. This is the Dodge Tool. And what we use this is to lighten up certain areas, if you like. So again, I have some helping tools up here to again make the size. What range do I want to do? The shadows, the mid-tones, or the highlights. Okay, I can try to do the highlights. And exposure, I'll show you what it is. Right now it's set to 50. So if I go to this butcher standing here preparing something nice for us to taste, I can just click like this and make him much more visible. So no doubt where he is. Exposure, I can go up maybe to, I'll try it on 100 and see what happens. What about this cheese over here? Oh, it's so enhanced that we can't actually see it anymore. Maybe this golden cheese down here, well, you can definitely see it. There's some ham back here. If I put some extra light in here, oh, this looks like there's another room in there. Opens up the pictures. Quite nice, actually. If you use it a little bit careful like this, around this big ham, it seems that it's another room continuing in the back. Fun tool, this too. By using the Burn tool, I can see if I can take some of these light areas away so that the butcher is even more highlighted. So I have chosen this, and you can see my cursor is rather big, and I want exposure up to 100 and see what happens now. Yeah, you can see now. I'll just left click, hold over it, and drag all over it, holding down the left mouse key. Do it again, and every time I click it becomes darker. So now we can actually see that these sausages are salty sausages, and they have some red and black color in there. They were overexposed. Now they are exposed more correctly, and we can actually see what it is. So I'm in a way cleaning up the picture now. Quite nice. Oh, saluma. Ah, mi piace. Ah, buonissima. And this prosciutto here. Oh yes, more color to it. Oh, looks much tastier already. Ah, bon appetit. And this Christmas I received a picture from a dear friend of mine in Germany, and his son. Der kleine Prinz, wie geht's jetzt? Aber die Augen, the eyes, they are so red. What can we do with that? Well, first I have to come closer and really find the eyes. And there you see them. So what we have to do is just choose the right tool in the Tools menu bar. And I just click in the center of this eye, and I click in the center of this eye, and when we then go back out again, you can see it looks beautiful. And while we are there, you remember the clone brush? I can just hit the stamp, and I hold down Control and click on some light red color here, and then I press here, and then I've taken away that spot. Didn't look too good, but okay. I can take some of this lining here down like this, and when we then go back out a bit, then it looks just perfect. So the red eye removal function, that's a dear friend of mine too. I have showed you earlier how to use the pencil or the brush to write direct into the picture. What is more common is to choose this rectangle, the drawing tool. And then again we have a new toolbar on top of the screen, and you can see we can choose different shapes. If I, for instance, choose this shape, rounded rectangle tool, I just go into the picture, left click, hold down, and I make a shape just the way I want it. And you can see it has a light yellow line around and it's white inside. So what I can do is to go down on the colors here, because these are the colors. If I change this one to a nice warm red Christmas color like this should be the area for the next one I'm drawing. Let me give it a try. Yes, we can see it. And the border size is 1. I can set that to maybe to 9. For the next box I draw will have a much thicker red line around. If I want to have another color inside, I just click the white, and maybe I can have some green, just a contrast to the snow. And click OK. So now the next rectangle I'm going to write is going to be this border color, and this is the inside. Nice. If I move to the opacity and reduce this maybe to around 50% like this, and write another one, then you will see that it's more transparent. When I'm using the drawing tool, I am not able to move it afterwards. I have to decide if I like it or not where I place it first. So this time I go for this, and then I want to write something inside it. I could choose the letter, the type toolbox, but first I have to find the right color. I think the red one will be the color. So I click the letter, the type tool, and we have the size 100%, style regular, bandana, and the color is yellow. I don't want that. I want another color. I want deep red color again. Very deep red, like this. And now if I hit the letter again, click inside, you see it's much too big. Maybe I can reduce it afterward. I just write 2009, and I go up here and just reduce it, and now you can see that it is more the right size for the box. And I can go to the move tool, hold it over the letters or the numbers in this case, and place it exactly where I want it. So this is a very practical tool. We're almost down at the bottom of the tools bar, and then we have this we call the Bloat Tool. This we use to grow an area. And you see I have a very big tool here, so I can reduce the size of it, maybe down to approximately 50. I left click here, and left click, left click, left click, left click, and you see the glass is expanding. I can set the strength to be 100%, go to this bottle and I can completely change the form of this. If you want to have a competition and see who can guess what on earth is this, then this is the right way to do it. Starting to look like a woman, if you ask me. Or maybe the muscles up here indicate somebody else. I don't know. It's a fun tool. Now we're going to use the Pinch tool. That is the opposite of the Bloat tool. So now we are going to decrease the size. You see I have a big tool here. I just left click. Whoops. Oh yeah. Completely changes the size of the person's faces. You shouldn't do this to people you like. You shouldn't do it to anybody actually. It's not good, it's not nice, but okay. Again, this is a very different way of totally changing an image, all the way a person will look like. Whoops. You can hide it completely. And now it becomes more and more an artwork. So if you could tell me what was here, then you're good. See? It's very fun. In a way we are making a painting using the colors that were originally in these small puppets, this small decoration. And again, who can guess what this was when I have finished the job? That person will get an extra package for Christmas, I'm sure. Oh, still some feet here. It's fun too. Now we have reached the color picker tool. You find it down here. This is a very advanced tool and it's very helpful because very often when you work with images you want it all to have the same temperature and colors. If I want to write something in this picture, I can find a color I want to use which is already in the picture. So if I click on this one here in the tree, you can see the color changed. If I click just change here, so I get this one up on top and then I click the color picker again and I take this red color that is under the tree, then you see I have picked two colors from the picture. If I then want to use the drawing tool and make a rectangle into this picture, I want the border size to be a little bit more, maybe 4, and I want to have some text here, then we're going to have a red border and a green color inside, like this. It's pretty nice. And then by choosing the text tool, I can write wherever I want. So this is a tool you choose to use when you want to keep a balance, a harmony in the colors you choose. If you have a rather big picture, what I have now, I've showed you before, you can use this Navigator to zoom in and out of the picture so you can get an overview. But if you are working in the picture and there are some specific changes you want to make to it, you just hit the space bar, and when you do that you can see the hand symbol is coming up. Then I can left click and drag like this. And it's easier to move around in the picture to see if there are some adjustments I want to make. So if I, for instance, want to take these persons away now, I can just go to the clone tool. I can click on the sky up here. Oh, I forgot to hold down the control. Control, click, and then I can start to take away these persons. So again, control, click, so like this, and now I got his head. You can see on the marker on the right side up up to the right, it is limited how much I can move, so I have to redo this operation. Control, left click, let go, then left click again, hold down, and then I can start to make these people go away. Control, left click again, and just take it away. It's a very nice tool. So now you learn a lot of how you can go and do adjustments to your pictures and do effects on them as well, make text, change colors, make total appearance changes, whatever. So, and if I again just use this Navigator and move out, you can see the streets are empty. In this video I will show you a little bit how to use in layers. Layers is very fun and often very necessary because we want to make one change, keep it, then make another change, and in a way we are putting transparent papers on top of each other with something different, something new on every layer. And that means we can improve an image or make certain effects and information into a picture, and always be able to go back and edit the various sheets that we have made. So just to make a short example, I again use my red beautiful flower from spring in Italy, and I go up here to layer and I say duplicate it, and I've duplicated this layer. What I can do now is to make this black and white, for instance. So I will have to go up to adjustments, and as you remember, we can go down to Desaturate, and it will be black and white. Then I move over to the eraser tool, my rubber, and I start working with this flower. And as you can see now, I keep the color of the flower, and if I want to go to the tiny small parts, I just have to go up here and reduce the size of my tool. Right now it's very big, maybe down to 0 is too small. I just write 3, and I can go in, zoom in, as you remember, on the flower, and I can do the final small adjustments I want on this flower. As you see, I've hit some green here, so if I just go around it like this, I want to make it here we have the top of the flower, and I want to go just outside a little bit and make it a green, like a glory around it. It's very nice. So this is a new layer. I have now a picture that contains 2 layers. I want to have the stem as well, so I just move down here, and when I zoom out, then you will be able to see that there is this beautiful red flower in the gray landscape. Beautiful. And I have the different layers here, so I can go in and always check, or maybe delete, or maybe, as here, add a new layer to this one as well, so we can build the image step by step. And now I save this picture into my computer, and maybe it's nice to use as a background or something. I leave this picture, I leave this as well, like this, and maybe for the last time I open up my red flower, and what I'm going to do this time, I'm going to keep the size. I hold down the space bar, you see the hand symbol comes up, left click and drag, and can I look for my red flower, there it is. And this time I want to cut it out, and I want to use the lasso. So I try to do it rather quick this time, so I just get it, trying to follow it. I cannot lift up the mouse, I have to keep this steady all around, like this, getting closer to the top, and now they are connected. What I do with this is I edit it, I copy, File, New, and this time I want to call this Red Flower. I want it to have maybe 800 pixels wide and 500 high, and I want it to be transparent. And I do like this, then I go to the edit button and go to paste. Here is my flower. I go to the file menu, I save it, and again I save this as a PNG. It's called Red Flower OK, and I want to have it onto my desktop. Red Flower, there we have it. Again, I leave Pixlr, I open up Writer, and if I just move it a little bit down so you can see all the commands and toolboxes, I go to Input, and I want to insert a picture, and you know where it is. There's my red flower. I open it like this, and here we have it. If I go to the menu bar and the format, I will have page, and I want to have a background color on this page. Maybe I just pick a light yellow one. Okay. And now you can see that the color comes through. So the picture, if it had not been a PNG, it would have been white all the way around here. So if you can see it's still a picture, I can move in the handles like this, adjust it, move it around, and if I make this a PDF file, you can see that this is it's going to turn out just great. Red flower on my desktop, PDF file. So I'll leave this one, and here I have my PDF file. I open it, Adobe Reader, and as you can see, it looks very good because this is a PNG picture. It's transparent. Before I start working with the picture I'm going to use, I have to adjust it to where I'm going to use it. Is it going to be in a text document? Is it going to be on the web? Or do I want to have it in a presentation? And this time, this picture is going to be for Impress from OpenOffice. So I need to do something with the image. I have to reduce or adjust the size. Usually that is to reduce it. So I believe that 1200 pixels, that will be okay. And the box was checked, so I constrained the proportions between the width and the height of the picture. Okay. We go to the view, show all, and here's my picture. Remember, we go to layers and then we duplicate layers, and there you can see now we have two pictures there. We have background copy, that's the one we're looking at now, then we have the original. But we're going to work with the copy, and I click the copy, and I'm ready to do some adjustments to this one. I can do what we did with the red flower, go to adjustments and just desaturate. And again, my eraser tool is here, and I left click, hold down, and move up and bring some color back into my picture. So this is just a special effect I want from San Gennaro in Toscana. This is all. So now I have two layers. If I click here, you can see I have to move down. This is the original, and this is the copy. When it's marked like this with the blue area, this is the one. In the classroom, if you're a student and you're working on a project, very often you need a picture. And the most common way to do that is to go to the internet to find a picture from the URL or URL, as we say, and then we have to open up internet in a new window and find a picture. There was an ugly fish. This one looks fun. Maybe this one. I can see the size here, it's 461 pixels, so it's going to do the job for me. It's good enough to have in Writer. So I want to see the picture in full size, like this. I move to the top and left click, so it's all highlighted. And I hold down Control and C, then I've copied the URL up here. I go back to Pixlr, and now we open the image from the URL, like this. I left click and drag, hold down and drag over it just to mark it, then Control and V, and I've copied in the address here. So now it's loaded up to my computer and into Pixlr. Very easy, very convenient. You do with this picture as you do with pictures from your own camera, no problem.